Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Okay, so that intro is getting to be not as funny as it used to be, right? We could be standing at the precipice of World War III. I've been talking about this for some time now, and it really got my attention when Israel and Iran started lobbing missiles back and forth towards each other a while back. It's been a while now. And this does appear to be more of a general overall war with Iran. And Israel and Iran, I think, are technically at war. And whether or not we get involved now is the big question. And I would have thought we had no reason to get involved. Why not just do this via proxy? Give Israel whatever it is they need to prosecute their war with Iran and just stay out of it. But now it appears that Donald Trump has, in fact, approved a attack plan and is just waiting to, give the final authorization to make a move. So we're going to talk about what potential move President Trump is about to authorize or has authorized. What is that going to mean moving forward? What repercussions against America can we expect? What will be the Russian response? All of the above and more. But before we get into that, I want to thank all of you who support this channel with your financial donations. This channel is funded exclusively by viewers like you. Without you, there would be no Sage Wanderer channel. So thank you so much for all of you who contribute, whether it's a lot or a little. It all adds up to just enough to keep the lights on in the cabin here. And thank you all for all the help you give. And if you would like to join them in supporting this channel with a financial donation, you can find links in the description below to Cash App, to PayPal, and to my post office box, in case you don't trust the electronic stuff. You can go straight to my P.O. box the old-fashioned way via snail mail. So thanks to all of you who support the channel. Bless you all. And let's get back to the program. So, are we about to go to war with Iran? Well, it appears we're about to do something. In fact, it could happen even while this video is uploading. I could be recording this now on Thursday around noon and it not get up until 3 or 4 or 5 this evening. It takes a long time to upload out here in the sticks. And it could have already gone off. It could have already happened. But it does appear that the United States is going to get involved in some way in this attempt to destroy the Iranian government's ability to enrich uranium and create weapons-grade uranium that's suitable for use in nuclear weapons. That this is a war to stop them from getting the nuke. And I won't get into the moral ramifications of what it means to stop somebody else from having something that we have many of, right? Who's going to stop us? You know what I mean? Like, we have the most nukes of anybody, I think. So I won't even touch the morality of us going around telling other nations they can't have what we already have. And I won't flip it and put the shoe on the other foot, right? And ask, what would happen if we were the ones being denied the secret weapon. So forget all that. I'm just going to look at what could possibly happen. And is that what this is all about? Is this really about stopping Iran from getting a nuclear weapon? Or is it a fact that Iran already has a nuclear weapon? I think that most people have believed for at least the last 10 years, most pragmatic people anyway, that they probably obtained this some time ago. We've been trying to stop them from getting the bomb since the 90s. What makes you think we stopped them? Right? Not only that, Iran apparently produced and released a video through their state TV some time ago. I guess it was right before it got bombed. Yeah, the Iranian state TV got bombed with a anchor on the air at the time it happened. So, but yeah, they released a video showing hands caressing a little warhead with the nuclear insignia on it, and a statement that that night would be remembered for 100 years. Well, it was a couple nights ago. Nothing happened, right? And some people think the big threat that Iran is making is an EMP threat. That seems to be one of the approved methods, a way to destroy another country and immobilize them without actually killing all of their people outright, and therefore maybe saving yourself the wrath of the rest of the world. Like if one nation was to nuke the other another nation, retaliatory strikes might come from third parties, right? Like if we did something to Iran, Russia might respond, or if Iran did something to Israel, we might respond, right? If Israel did something to Iran, then some other third party, like Pakistan, apparently just recently, there was a threat circulated that if Israel were to nuke Iran, that Pakistan might nuke Israel in retaliation. So the use of nuclear weapons could, open Pandora's box of hell on earth, and nobody wants that. But an EMP might be seen as a more humane choice, right? A more of a possibility that they could do it and not face massive global repercussions. So I'm not sure what the threat Iran was making there with the caressing of their little nuclear bomb, but I do know this. Something is happening, and I believe it's regime change. I believe that is absolutely the goal of this. I think it probably has very little to do with enriched uranium. I don't think it has a lot to do with nuclear weapons. That's just the excuse they're using, like Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction bluff from the 90s, well, in the 2000s. I guess we did. The 2000s was the weapons of mass destruction deal. But nonetheless, yeah, we already lived through that. We saw how the government tells you one thing and really means another. And I don't know that the military under this administration is going to handle themselves any differently than previous ones. So, Israel's argument, the military's argument, and I guess also now President Trump's argument is that, they're going to get the nuke. We have to stop them. We have to stop them now. I don't buy it. It makes more sense that this is part of an executed plan that's probably more than 25 years old. I believe this plan was put in place right after 9/11, and it was to topple the entire Middle East and put it under the control and leadership and guidance basically of Saudi Arabia and Israel. And that they were going to base get Israel to conquer all of those who wouldn't come under Saudi influence. And that was the plan, always the plan after 9/11. And that means that, Saddam Hussein had to go, who's the people in Libya, Gaddafi had to go in Libya, the Syrian government had to fall, and Syria had to be put into a civil war. They're just imploding the Middle East, and Iran is the kind of the last bastion of any kind of independent nation there that hasn't been touched by this campaign. And it's okay. I'm not even judging it, right? I'm just along for the ride. Like, nothing I say could influence the flow of any of this. All I can do is just kind of let you guys know what's happening. I hate to see people get, brainwashed into thinking that this is some kind of unplanned, spontaneous event that has something to do with what Iran is doing. It really doesn't. This is just one of the final steps in the conquering and the subduing of the Middle East, and reducing the Middle East to chaos or total control. There's no in between. Do away with any kind of independent and capable and especially militant government in any part of this oil-producing world. And that's clearly the New World Order and their goal in this deal. But the big question is Russia going to sit by the sidelines while Israel and the United States ransack Iran and claim all the oil fields? Because, that's what's about to happen, right? And, that's just another continuation of these endless wars. And then, I'm a little upset with President Trump. I voted for him for no new wars. Like his slogan was "No new wars under his administration," and here he is looking like he's going to pull us right into it. So what's about to happen? Let's just talk about, instead of talking about the rest of this, let's just talk about what we think is about to happen. What's next? Well, these nuclear weapons labs and storage facilities and enrichment areas apparently are buried under, hundreds of feet, a couple hundred feet of mountain. And Israel is claiming that they don't have the weaponry capable of destroying those deep underground military bases. And they need our daisy cutter, like they need our bunker buster bombs. Now, these bombs are not they're not nuclear. They're standard munitions, but they're just so big and designed for the purpose of destroying compounds deep underground. And they want the United States to either give them the weapons to do this or do it for them. And I think that we're going to end up doing it for them. That's what this discussion was about. We're about to find out. This may be old news by the time it gets up on, on the internet, right? Because we don't exactly know the timing of this. That President Trump has approved something. More than likely, it's a bombing run on this underground facility with the Daisy Cutter bunker buster deep underground penetrating bomb. And it's probably just better that we do it, since that's a specific kind of sortie. That's a specific kind of weaponry. And it takes training to know how to lay that puppy right in the right spot. So it's probably easier just to get Americans to do it. The Russians, what are the Russians going to do if we do that? And there were some immediate responses from various sources in Russia saying that, that Putin would intervene. But an official statement, I believe, is the only official statement, is, or maybe it's a leak. I'm not sure. I haven't really gotten too deeply into what's going on with Russia, except I've heard this. I've heard this statement that they are not going to defend Iran until Iran does a new financial and military treaty with them. Like Putin is taking a play right out of Donald Trump's playbook. That's what he did with Ukraine. He's like, hey, Ukraine, you want us to keep defending you. You want us to keep, protecting you, keep sending you all this free stuff and bombs and all these, missiles and aircraft. Then we want those rare earth minerals, right? We want something back from this. We're tired of this being a one-way street. We're giving you all of this. What are we getting out of the deal? And that's the card that Donald Trump played on Zelensky out of Ukraine. And it appears that Putin is playing the same card with Iran. That he has a wish list of things that Iran's going to have to give up. And then if they'll do that, then Russia will step in and provide support or even protect potentially Iran from any kind of outside attack. And honestly, I think what's about to happen is we're about to do a bombing run on this facility with these Daisy Cutter bombs. It'll probably be successful in destroying whatever's down there if they haven't already moved it. I mean, my goodness, we've given them enough time to move it. Of course, with the air superiority that Israel currently has over the state of Iran, anything that comes out on the road and gets moved, anything that comes up out of the ground is immediately targeted. They've got drones, eyes in the sky, satellite imagery that's watching every square inch of that place. So you can't move a mobile launcher or a lab or anything without coming on their radar and getting destroyed. So maybe that stuff is still sequestered deep in the mountain there and will be destroyed by American bombing run. I don't know that the Russians will do anything about it as long as we stop there. But I don't reckon we're going to stop there. This is where we're going to speculation again. I think this is a regime change thing. I think that we're about to try to overthrow the Iranian government. And if we can't, we're going to do what we did to Syria, bring it into a civil war so it becomes non-functional. If we can't put in a puppet regime like the old Shah of Iran in the old days, then we'll just destroy all the infrastructure and bomb it back to the Stone Age. And I'm afraid that that's what's about to happen, that this is going to be another one of these extended multi-year wars that we're engaged in. And the question is, will Russia rush in? Will the Russians rush in to protect the Iranians? And I think if the price is right, yeah, because the bottom line is there's massive oil fields all through there. This is also about control of the straits that allow for oil to be shipped through. And you've got their connection to the Houthi rebels who are sitting right at the choke point of the straits there. So there's a lot going on. International shipping is threatened. The stability of the region is threatened. Iran is seen as a troublemaker, and but Russia has a vested interest. In fact, it's their only real foothold left in the Middle East is Iran. I don't see them giving that up anytime soon. I mean, what do you think? You think Russia's just going to roll over while we bomb them back to the Stone Age? Is this just going to be a single bombing run and be done with it? Is this going to be um, just a threat? Is President Trump bluffing about getting involved in this kerfuffle between Iran and Israel? Is he intending actually to get involved, or is he just playing that card to bring them to the table and get them to give up? He recently said he told them that they should surrender unconditionally. How can they surrender if we're not at war? Surrender what? They're arguing that the target is the nuclear material. So is surrendering giving up the nuclear material? I don't know. Sometimes the things he says only make sense to him, right? Because he has all the information and he knows what's going on behind the scenes and we really don't. So I think some of the stuff that seems like almost nonsense to people is just him saying things with all the information and we're just outside the loop. Like I imagine somebody somewhere popped out and sweating bullets when he said surrender because they know what that means. Surrender what? I don't know. But I do know this. It does appear that President Trump is not going to keep his campaign promise to keep us out of wars, but he's going to back Israel in whatever it is they're doing. And I think it's regime change. I think they're trying to get rid of the Ayatollah. Donald Trump has threatened him literally, specifically, and said, we know where the supreme leader is. He's an easy target. We can hit him whenever we want, but we're not going to do it right now. All right? So I'm not sure what it is they're trying to get Iran to do. What, just have the government step down and have a new election? What is the end time goal? Ooh, Freudian slip. That was a preacher slip. Hey, that was a preacher slip. What is the end time? What is the end goal here? Right? What's the end game? What are we trying to achieve? Clearly, there's a goal there that's not being articulated, and that's why surrender or else makes sense. Unconditional surrender seems like it doesn't make sense, right, for someone to say that in our situation. So there's more going on here than we can see, than it's being let out. And now it's a little bit scary. Does it mean we're in the end times? Is this the beginning of the end? I don't know. This kind of thing has been going on for at least 24 years, ever since 9/11. And honestly, it's been going on since the 1960s. If you really want to get down to it, the Middle East has been a simmering mess since World War II, when they arbitrarily carved it up and created countries that never existed before at the end of World War II, when the Soviet Union and the United States sat down and chopped the world up in halves and divvied up all the pieces. So ever since then, the end of the Ottoman Empire, right? The Middle East has just been a mess. And is this an attempt to fix it? Is this just this plan that was put in motion clear back in 2001 to slowly topple every unfriendly government to the United States in the region there and prevent Russia from getting any kind of meaningful hold over the region? And at the same time eliminating all these sources of potential terrorism. Is this the plan? And the weapons of mass destruction was a ploy. Though we got to stop them because they're enriching uranium in Iran is probably a ploy. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Have both eyes wide open, but understand that that's probably what's at play here, is another destabilization of another Middle East country for our own reasons, to cause instability in the region, potentially keep Russia at bay. And what do you think? Does Russia have enough of a stake in this to try to go toe-to-toe with us? And what is China thinking? You got to think at some point they're going to be like, hey, America is busy. They got problems in Ukraine. They got problems in Israel and Iran. They've got issues in their own country. They've got, potentially a civil war or a uprising of the people happening on the streets with this No Kings protest thing that just happened. It's probably going to build through the summer like I predicted and blend in with all the other causes to just be one great big anti-government mess. This is all going on, and China might just decide, it's a pretty good chance that they're going to be too busy and they're just going to let us get away with taking Taiwan back. That's probably the big play. When that happens, I don't know how you don't call this World War III, right? I mean, this is pretty much World War III. We've got so many different things going on in so many different theaters, and we're just like one Taiwan away from this being World War III. Tell me what you think in the comments section. Did I get any of this right? Am I somehow unpatriotic because I'm holding Donald Trump to his no new wars under my administration promise? Right? That he kind of ran on that? Do I have the right to stand up and go, hey, hello, remember us? Remember the anti-war folks that wanted us out of Ukraine and wanted the wars to stop and us to all just get along? Remember us? I'm doing that. Remember us over here, the ones that voted for you and told our friends they should vote for you? I don't know. Lindsey Graham is running our country, I'm afraid. Tell me what you think in the comments section, and we'll see you next time on the end of the world as we know it.